Hello good people, welcome once again to today's nugget. In today's video we're talking about the zip function in Python, and in case you haven't seen this function before, it is a very useful function like many other functions in Python. And what the zip function does is it helps us to create a pairwise grouping of two collections. Okay, so this is also a matful, and I want to instead use an example program to explain how it works for you to understand. So let's say I have written some words as a list, okay, and it's basically numbers in words. So I'll say 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. And let's go ahead and then create the corresponding numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, now what are we going to do if we want a pairwise grouping where the word 1 is grouped with the number 1, the word 2 is grouped with the number 2, and it continues up until the end of both collections? The way to do that is to use the zip function, and this is how it works. So I can just say groupings is equal to zip. I call the zip function, I pass in words and nums. Now let's try to print out groupings and get a surprise. So I'm going to print out groupings, and oops, it says zip object at blah blah blah. So basically the return from the zip function isn't something that we can easily print out, but it is an iterable, and so we will be able to convert that to a list. And since we can print out a list, we will be able to print that one out. So what I'm going to do is I'll say print, and then I'll cast it to a list, and I'll say groupings. Okay, so let's see what happens in here. So basically this is what I was talking about. I refer to it as pairwise grouping. So it is grouping them pairwise, that each corresponding element in the two or more, you can actually use more collections. So each corresponding element in the collections are going to be grouped together into a tuple. So 1 goes with 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so this is one way of using it, but we often use this in a for loop where we want to actually iterate over the pairwise grouping. So how we do that is we can say for word and number in zip, and I'm going to zip words and nums. Then I'm going to use a for loop. I have a for loop already, so I'm going to use a print f statement, so an f string, and I'll say word, and then I'll print the corresponding word, and I'll say the number, and I also print the corresponding number over here. So let's see what happens with this code. So basically you can see that it zips them, it has a pairwise grouping, and then we are able to step through them one after the other. In case you're wondering when this thing is useful, it is particularly useful in data science or training neural networks where you want pairwise grouping between your input features and the corresponding labels. So thank you very much for watching this nugget. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.